And good evening, dear ones. Reverend Robert Brzezinski with you. It is May 31st, 2020, 8:15 p.m. Mountain Time. It means it's time for evening prayers. Opportunity to close up the day and move into the next whatever for their evening hours. And I keep saying it, and we're still here. And if you haven't paid attention to what's going on in the world today, in our country today, it's been a rough day out there. There's just a lot going on, folks, and a lot of things that probably don't make sense to a lot of people. And I've been avoiding social media all day long because I don't want to see the accusations. I don't want to see people fighting. I don't want to see. But then again, I watch live streams all day of protests, and luckily, for the most part, peaceful protests. For the very most part, the protests have been peaceful. There are people taking advantage of this opportunity to steal, to loot. Don't agree with that. And that is what is happening. That's the reality of what's going on in our country tonight. And it's been going on in our country for a few nights now. With the summer months coming, could be very, very interesting summer around this country. Because we're witnessing those old systems, those old ways of being breaking down, and people finally saying enough is enough in all ways and in so many ways. And it may take a while to rebuild. It may take a while for this aspect of society to really get the fact that it needs to change too, just like we changed so much else in the past couple of months. And this program is all about prayer. It's all about utilizing the power of a spiritual mind treatment, of an affirmative prayer. Not a begging and beseeching, but a movement in consciousness to know truth, to know the absolute truth, to know the divine truth, and to know the good that's coming through in the world. So let's take all this into prayer. And if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes and move into that space within. Right here, just let yourself breathe. Take a good deep breath, whatever that is for you. No need to count the time or any of that. Just in this moment, I come to recognize the One. I come to recognize God as source, as supply, as the wellspring of life and love and beauty and truth and health and wealth and well-being and abundance. And most especially tonight, I recognize God as the source of all peace, of calm, of rest. And what I know is this oneness, this thing called God, is moving and breathing and having its being as my life, as all life. Lives of each and every one across this entire planet, no matter where they may be this evening, no matter what they may be engaged in, no matter what might be going on in their lives, each one a divine expression of the whole, a divine emanation of God's life into this thing called human life. So I know that everyone that hears these words now at another time, in fact, everyone everywhere, is a divine emanation of God. And I speak this word for those that hear these words, that are present to this experience, to claim for themselves a deep, deep and sacred yes. Yes to the calling of life. Yes to what comes next in the world. And an opportunity to say no more to that which is no longer necessary, to that which needs to be swept away, for that which is no longer beneficial to the evolution of human consciousness. And that is not to say that racism has ever been beneficial to the human consciousness. And it has been part of our consciousness for so long that now is the time to clean ourselves, to change our thinking, to renew and reimagine the concept of race and race relations in this country and on this planet. Now is the time to rebuild the system of police violence, violence and hatred against people of color. To now is the time to reimagine and recreate all of the systems that are no longer serving, as all they each break down, as they are each being exposed to the light. And so in this truth, we see the difference between a peaceful protest and a band of thieves. We can see the difference and yet still honor the humanity, the humanness, the connection, the oneness of life, knowing that those sitting in peaceful protest are sharing the love, and those doing the looting are crying out for more love. There's a divine revelation happening, and it is impossible not to see. We are called to witness, to stand as holy witness to the evolution of human consciousness that's happening on this planet right now. And tonight, in this moment, it's happening across this country through protest, through uprising. It is the physical demonstration of the change in human consciousness, not the looters, not those seeking to do mayhem or instigate. For those are not the truth of God's life. That is the last grasp of an old and dying thought system. That is the last grasp of a thought system that believes there's not enough, that believes that I've got to get mine before you get yours, that an old system that believes and therefore expresses as poverty and impoverishment and oppression. And all of that is being washed away in this great tide, in this great wave of light that is washing across the planet in this time. And we are part of that. Each one that hears these words, we are part of that change simply by being in consciousness and saying, this too shall not pass, no more to this. Simply by being in the consciousness of this prayer that is affirming there is something new, something grander, something more magnificent than ever known, emerging onto this planet right now, a grand vision for humanity's life, for human consciousness, a great vision of a world that works for everyone, a great vision of man and woman, black and white, police and civilian, all coexisting, getting along, working together, all bringing forth this mighty vision. And so what I know is I know that in the mind of God, there is no opposition. This is a human construct. We only appear to be in opposition. In truth, we all want the same thing. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. In truth, we are all that and so much more. And so here tonight, for each one that hears these words, I claim the experience of activating that so much more, of letting go of the limitations, letting go of the sense of division, letting go of the hurt and the anger and the confusion that seems to be happening everywhere, all about. Letting go of all that and being in a place that says, I shall serve. I shall serve the uprising of human consciousness. I shall serve the evolution of human consciousness. I shall serve the revelation of this great and glorious vision of a world that works for everyone. And it might be messy getting there. And that's still God. So I invite each one here to bring the good, to bring the truth, to bring that affirmative prayer, to bring the affirmative thought that says we are healing. We are healing a lifetime of oppression, a lifetime of racial profiling, a lifetime of human division. We are healing all of that and moving into a deeper and more abiding recognition of the oneness that is life right now. That's what's happening. We are moving into an even deeper and more amazing recognition of the oneness, of the truth that deeply we are one on this planet, of way around this planet, no matter where we are in consciousness or in form, we are one. So I am grateful to recognize this truth, to be the conduit through which God speaks these words, but most especially grateful to know there is a great healing happening on the planet Earth and North America and the United States right now, this evening, in the midst of what appears to be anything other than a healing, in the midst of what appears to be absolute chaos and mayhem and violence. In the midst of all of that, there is God. And so I choose to see the good. I choose to see the God. With a grateful heart, I release this word into the law that must say yes, that already knows the way, that is already bringing forth everything necessary. I say yes to releasing this word and letting it be. I cast this word into the law and I let God be God. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you, dear ones, for being with me this evening. So grateful to see you, Ursula, dear one. Good to see you here. And so it is. Thank you for being with me, folks. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 8:15 Mountain Time. Gonna keep doing this. Gonna keep on keeping on. And there are a couple of things happening that I do want to remind you about. Make sure you know about. Number one, next Saturday morning, New Thought Media Network Expansion Jam. We're going to get our jam on and listen to some groovy tunes and share the vision, mission, and purpose behind this emerging ministry. We are a nonprofit ministry affiliating in the affiliation process with Soul Call Ministries. So grateful to be a part of that organization. You're going to hear a lot more about them from us. And it means that we get to move forward and share this vision, mission, and purpose in a much more powerful and amazing way. So we invite you to join us next Saturday morning, 9 to 9:30 for a special broadcast. And then immediately following, there'll be an opportunity if you'd like to get involved or support and help this mission, this ministry, this nonprofit, then by all means, you'll be invited into a special experience where we'll get to explore that as well. So I am grateful to be with you, dear ones. It is a wonderful evening, no matter what it looks like in the cities, no matter what it looks like on the streets. God's got this. God's got this. And I remember that truth. Until tomorrow, peace and blessings. I love you, dear ones. Go forth. Be magnificent. Be you. Be the magnificent you. That was a little too cheesy, wasn't it? See you next time.